Welcome to Megabucks Radio. Conversations with successful entrepreneurs, sharing their tips and strategies for success. Real-world ideas that can put Megabucks in your bank account. Here's your host, Nina Hirschberger.
Well, welcome to today's show. This is your host, Nina Hirschberger. And, you know, I told the guest today before we got started that I had, when I was very young, my parents said that I wanted to go door to door selling rusty bobby pins. I love marketing. Now, of course, they never let me do that, but I'll tell you, I could talk about marketing before I would talk about anything else. So it is a passion of mine. And I am thrilled to welcome on my guest today, Amy Pyles. Amy's client list, she's president, by the way, of Saxum, and her client list there reads like a who's who. She has a career in marketing and stuff. And so, Amy, what I want to do is I want the audience to hear from you. Tell me your background. How did you get started in marketing, technology? Tell us about Amy.
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure to talk with you and share a little bit of my story. So some of my background, I was very lucky to have some really great opportunities right away when I was getting started. I actually started my career during my grad program working at an organization called Soderquist Center for Leadership and Ethics, which is now Milestone Leadership. But I had the opportunity there as a new college grad, getting my MBA there, to work with some of the most amazing leaders that were studying values-based leadership and struggling with business challenges. And I just got to sit in the room and soak that up and hear how they talked about their business. I got to sit with the CEO of Pepsi, with the founder of Auntie Anne, and the entire organization was founded by Don Soderquist, who was the former COO of Walmart back in the day. So I immediately got exposed to these great business minds and real challenges. So I always start there because it really set me up for a deeper understanding of business during that time. And then from there, I immediately went into digital marketing. And it was perfect time, perfect place within there. I worked for a digital marketing agency out of Northwest Arkansas for about 8 years there. And it was right as social media was emerging, as the iPhone came out, as people were trying to figure out how to take technology and really use it as a core pillar of their marketing and of their customer experience. So I got the opportunity to work with a lot of brands as they were navigating this brand new space of digital innovation. And how do we, leverage that from, using influencers online, and how do I connect with bloggers, and how are they telling my story authentically, to how am I reaching people through this new thing called Facebook and Twitter and all of these new platforms, and just helping to pioneer that and help these big brands try to figure out all of this new technology. And during that time there, I really fell in love, not just with the digital space and all of those touch points, but the actual technology behind the scenes that was running a lot of that, and just seeing how it could transform those touch points with customers, but also your own business, and how it can automate and just run things more efficiently and more effectively, so that everything you're doing, that it's actually generating ROI for your client or for your own business. So that's really where I fell in love with digital marketing. I now am the president here at Saxom, and we're an integrated marketing and communications agency. And so I've been able to bring a lot of that digital passion and really fold it into a more integrated approach across all of the different marketing tactics, and bring technology into PR, into our creative production, into our paid media, and how that really all works together to drive our clients' business and our own.
So, Amy, let's go back in time when you said you started out of college and you got to sit in and listen to those, giants in the industry. Mm-hmm. Besides technology, what did you learn from them?
Gosh, I learned so much about understanding yourself and where your strengths are, what your personal values are, what do you want to accomplish, and what do you want your legacy to be? I got to see these leaders wrestle with that and see how important that was in their leadership, that they could only be effective when they understood themselves from their personality, their tendencies, their deepest values, and how once that was aligned with their leadership and kind of their business priorities, that's really where potential was unlocked. And so that was a really powerful foundation to just start to understand right away as I started my career.
Okay, so whoever is going to be listening to this particular radio show is primarily your local businesses, your doctor, your dentist, your lawyer and stuff. Am I hearing you say that one of the lessons that you learned early on could apply to that group of people too, that they have to understand more instead of, think about it as being a dentist. Let's give that as an example. So that dentist needs to understand a little bit more of who he or she is before they can be a successful dentist. Am I translating that right?
Absolutely. So, when you think about what we're all doing, everybody wants to leave a legacy or have purpose in the work that they do. So even thinking, of a dentist, at the core, dentists are helping people. They're helping people solve a problem. It could be a pain problem. It could be a confidence problem. And they're poised to help those individuals, and being able to understand how they want to do that, how they want their dentistry to operate, and how they want their staff to be treating each other and to be treating their patients. All of that is critical to great leadership and to, I think, running a successful business as well.
Yeah, I've got one guy that has been on my podcast, and he has an auto repair business, one of the largest in the entire United States. And he will tell you he is not in the auto repair business. He is in the safety business. And no car will go out of his location if there's anything that's critical that they have found when they did all of their analysis. So you can come in for an oil change, but they will check that car over from bottom to top. And if a client refuses to get those critical things done, he will actually have the vehicle towed away so he does not hand them the keys, because he's in the safety business. So, all right, so let's talk about technology. Let's go back to the dentist. So what kind of technology would a dentist be useful in his business or her business?
Absolutely. So I would recommend starting with kind of a CRM. So it's a customer relationship management or patient, relationship management database. So most dentists are probably going to have that track just who are our patients and information about them. And once you have kind of some core information about who they are, not necessarily all of their medical information is needed for the marketing piece, but it allows you to really automate some of your touch points with that customer. It could be as simple, for a dentist as, how am I providing extra value between appointments? This could be through email automation. So once you connect those systems together, am I engaging with my patients with tips in between? Am I helping them meet all of their goals for their dental health in between appointments? Am I sending them, appointment reminders? And am I having a way for them to digitally manage their appointments? So really thinking through that experience and those touch points. And what technology allows you to do is to automate that. So I know for a lot of small business owners, but really any business owner, thinking about the time it takes to be able to set up and manage programs like this can really be a barrier and can be overwhelming. But there's so many tools out there that can make it easy. And once you set it up, it can have a lot of automation to where you're just learning and tweaking it along the way, but you're not having to come up with brand new content every week. You can really automate what those touch points look like and let it kind of run for you and just gather those insights back to it. And so it really becomes a powerful way to have marketing without having to have extra personnel or a whole lot of additional investment once you can start to automate it and leverage those tools.
So, in the marketing world, we talk about online and offline, and you just described an online kind of automation. Do you put any kind of offline? Do you send any little newsletters out? Do anything like that? Is that a useful thing these days in marketing?
It all goes back to your audience and how they like to be communicated with. And so we have some, audiences that we're running campaigns for where we're still doing some direct marketing and having some automated things go out in that way, and it hits their mailbox. It has those type of things, and it really just depends on what's effective. But what we're able to do, because that's tied back into a technology that is tracking it, or maybe we put a QR code on there or a unique web address that allows us to track the return on that, we're able to know what's effective and what is not. Like I said, for some campaigns, that's actually been our most effective outlet is a direct mail, and others, depending upon the audience, that would be something that would just end up in the trash, and we need to have a fully digital experience.
Do you have any tips on a direct mail campaign that really does work, as opposed to? Let me give you an example. So obviously, we don't get very much in our mailboxes anymore, not like we used to. And if there is something in my mailbox that is a marketing piece, generally it's a 4-color postcard, which can, in my world, end up being just kind of another junk mail too. Is there anything you guys have learned to catch attention a little bit better, even in the direct mail world?
We have seen it be most effective when there is a direct offer attached to it. So when it's kind of blanket messaging, we've seen that be less effective. But when there is a direct savings or a direct health call to action, so maybe it's make an appointment because you're due for it, or something that is very much in service of the recipient, that's when we see it be most effective.
Okay, that makes sense. So do you have a preference? You started out talking about CRM. CRM stands for customer, resource management? Relationship management. Mm-hmm. And there's all sorts out there. They go from free all the way up to a much more expensive kind of an option. I know that for a dentist in the dental world, they do have the project management, and sometimes there has to be a bridge between those two kind of software. But is there any tips for picking one that might work for a small business?
Yes, I think you're going to want to look for something that has a lot built into it right out of the box. So you've got templates there, and it's very easy to set up. You don't have to do custom coding or design or things like that. We are big fans of HubSpot at Saxum because it has so much scalability. There are free versions out there that anybody can get started on, and then you can slowly add on to it as you're able to or as you need to. And so it also has a ton of resources with it. So from a support perspective, especially for a small business, I would stay away from anything that does not have a lot of support. And when I say support, I'm looking at, are there templates out there that plug into this? What is their customer support within there? Because that's not going to be the core piece of your business. So you need somebody that's going to be able to help you quickly and have good support within there. Or is it a commonly adopted CRM so that there are additional freelance resources or people that you could plug in if you did need short-term support for that? A lot of times it can be tempting to go with something that is very small, but it's not well known. And I've seen that to be a little bit of a danger for a small business because the support isn't there.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So even if you don't have anybody on staff or you don't have the budget to hire maybe a digital agency, you certainly can find people that are like a virtual assistant to help you as long as you stay in a good path instead of one of the less expensive. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Absolutely. You're going to find experts in a known software like HubSpot that can be really affordable in helping you through it as you need spot help along the way.
Okay. Let's segue into connecting it into social media. What's happening in that world? You know, the beauty about having you on this radio show is you know what's going on right now It's not what happened 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So what's happening right this moment?
Yeah. You know, social media is the channel that's changing almost daily. We've seen such a shift in Facebook's dominance. Well, it's still definitely for, you know, an older audience or a mass audience, it's still the winner of being able to reach kind of bulk people, but we're seeing a lot more niche channels and how you reach people on Instagram, on TikTok. You know, Twitter's a little up in the air right now. We'll see kind of what happens over these next few months within Twitter. But all this, there's still the leading places where you can connect. But the other thing that I would say we've seen is it really has become a pay-to-play platform. So to be able to reach audiences regularly, you have to have some paid dollars behind that. That doesn't have to be huge dollars. We're not talking, you know, thousands upon thousands every month just to be on these. But it's so saturated, especially on Facebook, that in order to actually engage with audiences, you have to have some paid advertising on the platform to even just get seen, which has been new, I'd say, in the past probably 3 to 5 years, as, again, it's just gotten more saturated on that platform. The other thing that I'll say, okay.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say, the change in content formats that have been really effective is, if you're on Instagram or even Facebook has this built in, is the Reels. So how you're doing more video content, less high produced, but still of value to your audience. Those content formats have been much more effective than just kind of some of the general posting as well.
So, yeah, I mean, I haven't done that, but I've been noticing all of those Reels on Instagram. And so what about video on YouTube? I'm hearing some buzz on that.
Yeah, YouTube is such a powerful platform as well. It kind of has a double benefit. So it gives you great search engine optimization. So just getting found online is so critical for any business. And YouTube is one of the powerful ways that if you're building regular content there, it also supports just your web search engine optimization and getting your videos seen in there. So it has kind of that duality that we really like on YouTube. The biggest challenge is just making sure that your content is relevant and helpful to your audience. So figuring out the right cadence of content, the right tone for your audience. It takes a little bit of experimentation, but once that's figured out, it is absolutely a great platform to be providing value and ongoing engagement with your audience.
Well, I wasn't very clear on that. What I was thinking about was paid video on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, it depends on where your audience is. There's a lot of great ad formats across YouTube to be able to place it in front of different audiences. We do some within there, but there's also other platforms that spread it out kind of across the World Wide Web. So it's not just within YouTube that we see great success with as well. Now that would probably take an agency to kind of help you navigate some of those channels. But in general, video advertising, we're seeing that to be one of the highest success rates for us in an awareness campaign.
Okay. All right. So I'm sitting here as the dentist or the lawyer or whatever, and I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Like, I'm trying to fix the teeth, How in the world do I try to pull this all together? And is there any hope for me? Is there anything that, or am I just like, okay, I might as well give up because there's no way I can compete with all of that kind of stuff happening? What would you say to that, dentist?
I would say don't be afraid to experiment. You don't have to be on every channel all at once. Try one thing at a time and see if you're getting success from it and what are you learning from it. So maybe you want to start on YouTube. Maybe video is very comfortable for you and you want to start posting on there and dabbling a little bit in some of their advertising tools. Just start. Just try something. You will learn a lot as you get going within there. And don't be afraid to abandon something and try something else. I think all of this marketing takes so much agility, but you're going to learn so much about your audience, about what they're looking for from you, that's going to drive your business even beyond just that marketing output. Just those learnings and insights are going to be really powerful. So I'd say just start small, try one channel at a time, try one step at a time, and learn from that and build from there.
Well, it's interesting you say that. There is a guy locally that my husband and I have used to do a couple projects. He's a contractor. And the guy has, first of all, we all have a video camera hanging in our hand. And so all we have to do is, and that's exactly what he does. He's out there on the job site, and he turns on the video and he starts shooting a video, and not professionally produced, not anything, but you know what? We watch it.
Yes.
Or the reels. The local flower gal who started a little flower farm, and on Instagram, she's doing a bunch of reels. So what about hiring a high schooler or a college person or your kid or somebody? Is that, they kind of get some of this a little bit more than some of the other people do. Is that a good idea? Or should you be the one, because you know your brand, you know your message,
I think my recommendation would be there are great tools for finding freelancers on Upwork or some other platforms where you're going to be able to find affordable and effective talent to help you. While you can always hire, high school or somebody younger, there is a difference, I think, between understanding how to use the platform and understanding how to market on the platform. And I think that you can get to great talent that's very affordable, skilled, and can help a lot through some of those platforms like Upwork. That's just great talent to help you out too.
Amy, that is such wisdom, such wisdom. Yeah, oftentimes you see, I got a 12-year-old and he knows how to do whatever. So, but knowing the message and everything, that's great. Let's segue now into larger companies, because there is a very good chance that there could be some larger companies listening to this radio show as well. That's your niche, right? You really do focus on. Is it a $10 million company? Is that your ideal client?
We're probably a bit higher than that as well.
Okay.
Larger clients, typically clients that may have a marketing and a sales team, and we really work with them to figure out how do we combine both of those efforts together so that marketing is just as accountable for revenue as sales.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So, but the things that you learn with that $50 million company, let's say, is very applicable in the smaller ones. But what is the special things? What, at that level, what happens that's any different? Or is it the same? You just happen to have a team of people who understand and you work through that whole thing?
Yeah, at its core, it's the same. I think what differs is the volume of tools, channels, and people that we're engaging with from a outreach perspective. So marketing is here to support the revenue of any company of any size, and we want our companies to be very customer centric. So we want to make sure whatever we're doing, we're meeting the needs of our stakeholders and our audiences. And marketing technology is what comes in and enables that. And the scale of that can obviously be very different based on, again, the scale of people that we're reaching, the scale of channels that we're engaging with them. But at its core, that's the same. We want to connect with audiences. We want to provide value, and we want to learn from that to be more effective marketers, communicators, and just business professionals to make sure whatever we're providing to our customers is of value to them. And marketing technology is just what enables that data flow and all of those insights to happen.
Yeah. Why Saxum? Why you guys? Because one of my clients is a $50 million company. So why would they use you versus another competitor?
Yeah. So at Saxom, we are a team of really smart individuals. We have about 50 people here on staff here. But really what's different for us and what is at the core of our purpose and our mission is that we are obsessed for good. And what that means for us is that we're working with brands, organizations, and causes that are making meaningful and measurable change in this world. So we tackle things that are hard, that are meaty, and that at the end of the day are making a positive impact on people and planet. So the clients that we're partnering with, we share that same passion and commitment to making that change, and we'll come alongside bringing kind of our expertise of marketing communications to help them achieve that meaningful change that they're trying to make in the world.
Well, congratulations. That is amazing. And what a terrific mission that you guys have. So that makes perfect sense. Well, I'm looking at the clock and we are out of time, but Amy, there is a possibility that there could be a $50 million company that's listening to this and saying, you know what, I need to touch that gal. I need to connect. Is there a way that you prefer people connect with you?
Absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn, Amy Pyles there, or come to our website at Saxom.com, and you can connect with us that way as well.
That's perfect. I will put it in the show notes, so we will link to both of those. But Amy, thank you for today's show. I mean, you've not only given real value to the local business, but a real vision of what might happen to some of those larger companies as well. So it's been my privilege and my honor to have you on today's show.
Well, thank you so much, Nina. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Until next time, this is Nina Hirschberger. Go out and make it a great day.
Thank you for listening to Megabucks Radio with Nina Hirschberger. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or to listen to past episodes, visit megabucksradio.com.